So there's a guy by the name of Francis Suarez. Now, if you haven't heard of him, don't worry. Nobody's heard of him. But he's a politician. He's the mayor of Miami. And he decided, you know what? I'm going to run for president. Why is he doing it? Look, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe he's such an egomaniac and narcissist that he thinks, no, I can win this thing. I can win the Republican primary. I can beat Joe Biden. I can become president. He might think that, or he might just be trying to up his name recognition to sell a book or get a media career or set up a future presidential run where he'll have a better chance. But of course, he's jumping in super duper late. You know, I'm endlessly fascinated by these guys like Doug Burgum, for example, the North Dakota governor who is South Dakota or North Dakota? I think North Dakota, who's running for president. And it's like, he's literally stuck in the year 1988. He's got the most goofy, campaign ads I've ever seen. These people just fascinate me because it's like, what is the mental process going into this? In the case of Doug Burgum, I think he literally thinks it's like 1988 and like a moderate, upstanding Republican has a chance of winning. I don't know how you could, based on everything that's happened with Trump and how insane the news has been the past 5-6 years, I don't know how you could think that, but he does. Or try to build a bigger name running in the future. I don't know. But this guy, Francis Suarez, is really showing that, look, if you're going to run for president, there are certain things, not debatable. You got to know certain things. You got to know. You can't be one of those people, I don't know anything about foreign policy, but once I get into the office, then I'll learn on the job. No. Can't do that. You can't do that about taxes and economic stuff. You just can't do it. You just can't do it because you're asking for, it's the most important job interview in the world. You are asking to be the most powerful person on the planet. You got to know some stuff, okay? You got to know some stuff. So Hugh Hewitt interviewed this guy. Now, Hugh Hewitt is a conservative guy, goofy guy. He's wrong about almost everything. But what he likes to do in these interviews is sort of like low-key, casually expose people who don't know basics. He did this to Trump in 2016, and it worked. Hugh Hewitt was able to show Trump doesn't know the difference between the Quds Force and the Kurds. He got those confused. In another interview, Trump didn't know the difference between Hamas and Hezbollah. Now look, if you don't know the difference between those things, that's okay. But you're not running for president. If you're running for president, you have to know the difference between Hamas and Hezbollah. It's not that complicated. This is like entry-level stuff for a presidential candidate. Trump didn't know those things. Okay. So he's talking to Francis Suarez. He's doing an interview with him, which was kind of Hugh Hewitt, by the way, even though Hugh Hewitt has 17 listeners in his own right. That's 17 more people that'll hear of Francis Suarez who haven't heard of him previously. So Hugh Hewitt says this. The penultimate question, Mayor. Will you be talking about the Uyghurs in your campaign? Suarez says, the what? Hugh Hewitt says, the Uyghurs. Suarez says, what's a Uyghur? Hugh Hewitt says, okay, we'll come back to that. You've got to get smart on that. Suarez says, okay. Again, if you don't know what a Uyghur is, which by the way, my guess is like 80% of my audience does. Okay, but if you don't know it, it's okay. You're not running for president. For a presidential candidate, this is like, again, entry-level stuff. Entry-level stuff. The Uyghurs are the Chinese Muslim minority who are oppressed by the Chinese government. That's what they are. And there's disputes in the claims of how extreme the oppression gets. Some claim it goes as far as like literal concentration camps and a ethnic cleansing type thing. Others say it's, authoritarian crackdown, but sort of on par with what happens with many minority communities in many states. But he doesn't even know what they are. He doesn't even know what they are. He doesn't know who they are. This is crazy. Bro, come on, man. Come on. It is really up there with some of the most ultimate like faceplants in political history. What comes to mind, of course, is Sarah Palin not knowing what the Bush Doctrine is when she was the vice presidential candidate of John McCain. She was asked what she thinks of the Bush Doctrine, and she goes, "In what respect, Charlie?" And he's like, the Bush Doctrine. It's like, well, she didn't know what it was. And at the time, understand, everybody in politics knows what the Bush Doctrine is. It's preemptive war. It's like you attack first because you don't want the evidence to come in the form of a mushroom cloud, is the line Condoleezza Rice used. She didn't know what I meant. It reminds me of Rick Perry. Remember when Rick Perry, very famously, in a Republican debate, was told, there's 3 agencies of government that I'd eliminate when I get there. We got, let's see, the Department of Education, the Department of Transportation, and what's the third one there? And Ron Paul chimes in, and he's like, the EPA? And he's like, oh, yeah, that's it, the EPA. And then the host goes, is it the EPA? And he's like, let's see, do you not know what the third one is? Rick Perry's like, let me see, it's the third, I get rid of the Department of Education, and I can't. Oops. It was the oops heard around the world, man. It was the oops heard around the world. Remember when Trump thought Frederick Douglass was still alive? Frederick Douglass, he's doing more and more incredible things. It's up there with the moments of, like, ultimate face plantage. It's like when remember when Biden thought Jackie, he was like, where's Jackie? Jackie, where's Representative Jackie? And Jackie had been died, like, a couple months ago. Look, just don't run for president. By the way, this guy was, just so you all know, this was like the I'm super into crypto guy. Like, I'm super into crypto mayor. And of course, crypto has had a tumultuous time, and many of the key players have been, exposed as total and utter scam artists and frauds. Just don't run for president if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm a loudmouth YouTube host. That's what I am. And my knowledge of policy, both domestic and foreign, like, is probably no exaggeration, 20 times more than this guy running for president. That is colossally embarrassing, dude. Give it up. All right, guys, that's the show. I love y'all very much. Thank you, as always, for listening to me babble. You know the shameless plugs. Click like, click subscribe. That's the most important one. Click subscribe. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. Deeply appreciate that. Much love to everybody who supports this show on Patreon. You guys make it work. The link's in the video description box if you'd like to donate a couple bucks a month. It is deeply, deeply appreciated. You could also support by tipping on YouTube. There's a thanks button below. You could tip that way as well. And you remember, you can always support Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack as well. If you pay $5 a month, you get the video of the interviews, and you get them a day early, and you get our newsletters and all that fun stuff. Everybody else can listen to the Crystal Kyle and Friends podcast for free, but it's just the audio version, and it drops a day later. By the way, we will be debating a libertarian presidential candidate this week, which is super duper fun. I'm looking forward to it. So go sign up on Substack right now. You're going to want to see this thing as soon as it drops. I'm very, very excited for that. And remember, you can always listen to the full Kyle Kulinski show over on Spotify if you'd like to, listen to it as the audio podcast and you don't want to go video for video on YouTube. And that's all I got for you guys, man. I love all you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Much love. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.